Man, this is a topic that I want to talk about, and I believe that we need to. And I want to start with the definition, the working definition that we had, that we used for love. There's a partial definition, which I'll give first, which is an increased feeling of deep affection. For love, it's an increased feeling of deep affection. I feel that, but I think it's a partial description. My younger brother, he gave me this, he's about 17 years old, he gave me this one. He gave me this definition. It is love is not limited to a feeling. Love is a choice or conscious decision to serve another person's purpose. A conscious decision. It's not limited to just what we feel. Because what we feel as human beings is up and down, up and down. Love is a conscious decision. And we talked last week with this idea, like, it makes it a lot more difficult, and it puts a lot more responsibility on human beings when we forget that, people say the statement like, I fell out of love. No, I chose not to be in love. Hear that? It's a conscious decision. Love is a cognitive function. It's a brain function. It's something that we choose to do. God so loved the world, even though he knew that we would suffer. It's a conscious decision. Even though that he knew we would be God and that would spit on him, he chose, he so chose, and he given us the same ability to do the same. To love. Man, this love thing is all twisted. I mean, man, we start thinking of words like, man, making love. Like, for real? Like, we get it all skewed and what that really means, and everybody's doing it, pun intended, right? Everybody, you got it, awesome, you got it. Everybody's doing it, everybody's saying it, everybody you walk by and somebody saying they love you, and love is in the air and all this stuff. But I think we need to get a little bit more gritty today and talk about this topic of what it means in the context of love. What does it mean what does sex mean? What does it mean to be in a relationship? What does that look like? And ever see real quick, our society is messed up and has no clue. Real talk. Now, I don't cuss. I don't cuss. I don't use 3, 4 words. I just don't, right? I was a cussing sailor when I was in the world, and I just chose when I was cussing, shooting up dude, and I said, certain things I just wouldn't do. The use foul language was one of them, right? When I became a believer. I said, I can do that then, but why would I want to do that now? It just makes no sense to me, right? And so that's not what you're going to hear. What you're going to hear, though, I'm going to use very straight-up language about, penis, fluid, sex, vagina. We good? Sweet! We're halfway there. It's going to be as bad as I thought. Because we need to talk about this because we get all shy in the church and nobody wants to talk about it. And we get shy and what we're doing is that we're left with only a couple options. We're left with only a couple options. We start talking about it, we cast this line, your homeboys. Or we're left with the alternative, which is porn and other stuff, right? Typically we hear about sex in a few ways. How old were you when somebody first talked to you about sex? When you first heard about sex, how old? Somebody knows something. 9? 14? Say again? 5th grade. All right, this question, who was it that first brought it to you? Huh? At school, like one of those sex classes? Or was like somebody in the playground?
Like health ed class.
Health ed class, okay. On the street? Yeah, that's a good place to learn it. On the playground. Somebody else? Friends. These are all the areas. I wrote them down. I thought I would just throw it out there as an open-ended question to hear what everybody was saying. But these are the same things I wrote down. It's like we hear from people we know. We hear from friends and those of us that are dudes that play sports is locker room talk. And quite frankly, dude is lying anyway. 90% of what he said, like, yeah, bro, I smashed that. Like, bro, that's me. You're lying, dude. You're lying. So the And then we get these pieces of information, and it really doesn't make a lot of sense. But then those of us, those who, not me, but those who grew up in church, you basically heard one story about what sex was. Don't do it. Got these couple church people say, amen, like, don't do it, you go to hell, burn hellfire, and you know, this kind of, we hear these scriptures. Now, I want to read these scriptures because they're true, but I want to read them, and so we can see them. 1 Corinthians 6 and 18, it says, flee from sexual immorality. Every other sin a person commits is outside the body, but sexuality immoral person sins against his own body. We hear those scriptures. We hear this one right here, which is Matthew chapter 5, verse 28. It says, but I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery in his heart. Right? We hear these. This is the ones that come across. Though these are very much so, they're true. These are real. But man, sometimes it just seems one-sided, as if God is not okay with us having sex. Come on, somebody give me a nod to something. Yes. As if like, no, this is something that's flying filth, and that I'm never to touch it. It's something that's off subject. We shouldn't even talk about it until we get to it. Right? It feels like that. No, there's some other scriptures. I get a little racy. Songs of Solomon, right? Songs of Solomon, it reads this. Sweet. This is from her to him, right? She's saying, oh, how I wish you would kiss me passionately. For your lovemaking is more delightful than wine. That's gay. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm doing like that, you know what I'm saying? Let's get a player status, you know what I'm saying? Like, your lovemaking is more delightful than wine. The fragrance of your cologne is delightful. Your name is like the finest perfume. No wonder the young women adore you. Right? Draw me after you. Let's hurry up. Right? May the king bring me into his bedroom chambers. It is saying exactly what we think it's saying. This is in the scriptures. Let me go from him to her. Right? Oh, you are beautiful. Your eyes behind your veil are like doves, clear white. And, this one is like, I don't know how this one will go with my wife, but like, your hair is like a flock of female goats. It's like, you know, Giselle waves. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Your hair is like a bunch of goats. Your teeth are like a flock of newly shorn sheep, fishing line or whatever, coming up from the washing place. I skipped all that. But let me get on this one, verse 5. It's a whole bunch of these things, like verse 4 it says, your neck is like the Tower of David. Now, the only thing about culturally, a longer neck, than even in some countries now, is what's sexy, right? I think it was Vanessa. She was talking about she was in Africa, right? And she was there, and she said boobies was out everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Boobies was everywhere, right? And so she said I said, we're going, yeah, good, I'm good. Welcome to the edge, right? So she said their breast was everywhere, and people praising and all this stuff, breast everywhere. She said she got up one morning, she goes and mind her own business, and she goes to go and shave her legs. She said she just goes and shave her legs, fully covered, shaving the legs. Everybody comes like, what? No! Because in certain countries, the legs is the more intimate thing. I just got a question. This is not one of those. Let's make sense of this. Why is a booty sexy? Like, for it. This little dancing thing work. Ooh, look at that. Like, no. Like, it's something that we bought into. It's a thought. Like, no, we convinced. It's the power of suggestion. I can get you to believe if I can continue the thing that putting the clothes is sexy. Come on, you know who put the clothes, bring the brush together. That's sexy. But in certain countries, because they have to put emphasis on it, it's not sex. In fact, you better put them away because it's fine. You feel me? Boobies. I'm just done here. Oh, I am done. Sweet. Oh, no, I got one more. This one. The two breasts, the two breasts are like two fawns, twins of gazelles grazing among the lilies. Two fawns, you're talking about Bambi, two Bambis. Perky? No. Serious. There's other ones that talk about being monsters of Beether. Like, the Bible is clearly talking about getting it on. And it's okay. Because if you knew the story, you know the complete story. It was a story of waiting and when should it happen and how should it happen. That's what we're missing. That's what we're missing. So everybody say, God wants me to have sex. We got it out. Go ahead, give yourself a hand. Give yourself a hand. You okay? You got like 10 levels. We're on level 1.3 right now. Okay? If you blessed, you might want to leave. Yeah. All right. It's going to be, I'm going to try to cover as much as I can in the next 30 minutes or so. And I'll be out of your way, okay? Let's see. There's a couple engineers in here. They know what I'm talking about. The idea of inductive study, the idea like you can't just, you have an issue, you can't just dive into the issue, you have to walk back. We're trained that way. And you have to find out the source, because otherwise you'll be guessing, and it typically costs a lot of money when I'm guesstimating at your issue. So you just can't like, oh man, this is the problem with sex. Don't have sex. I think we have to back up a little and see the progression. Why are we where we are? Why are we in the most sexed society that we have ever seen in the United States of America? There's a reason. Now, I compiled, I'm weird, and so I do, you got your, hobbies I got mine, I research, right? And so, a lot of sociologists, psychologists, family counselors, and experts who wrote books, and I put it all in one bundle, and I'm hoping, I got like 10 pages, so I only go through like 4. So, but I just want to, I'm gonna take that information, I'm kind of shrink wrap it a little bit, and I'm mixing them together. If you like me to source it later, I will, but I just want to shrink wrap it together for you and kind of show you a progression, what I like to call the progression of sin. What happened? Because if we can understand what happened, we may be able to fix it. Troubleshooting 101. Okay? You ready? There's 4 components I want to talk about. First one is I want to talk about social change in the home structure. Why do we view sex the way we view it? Why are relationships so messed up? Why? Because here's one of the reasons, and other experts would agree with me. Let's walk through. We'll go back to the 60s, all right? And I'm using general statements, so I know that. I know that everything is not all-inclusive. However, in general, many mothers, the number of mothers that were at home in the 60s is astronomically different than what it is today. It's the opposite. Someone at home rearing the children. It's different now, right? Kids were being watched. They were being greeted when they came home. The father would come home, and they would do what they do, and they would have the Brady Bunch. There was something different too, and this creeped into the 70s as well. Those of us that was 70s baby, we know what I'm talking about, specifically in hood. Like in the 60s, it's like if you got in trouble here, before you know it, you got in trouble, and auntie, the lady down the street who calls herself your auntie, she's really not your auntie, but you're in trouble there, and you're in trouble over here, and you're in trouble. It's like the string of trouble. Right? Because there was this neighborhood responsibility. It was a community responsibility. There's an African adage that says it takes a village to raise a child. It was that concept, right? It took a village to raise a child. This whole idea of these kids, and everybody was raising, everybody was loving, everybody was pouring into, everybody was investing. It was a responsibility. This is critical because there's going to be a major shift, right? Even the language with kids and adults. I mean, we started in the 70s. We started to get away from saying yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. If you're a kid here and you're like, my son is 26 years old, my oldest son, 26 years old. So if you're a kid here and you come by my first name, you will be corrected. You got two options, Uncle Troy or PE. Right? Why? Because I was raised in the 70s. Back in the 72 is where I was born. My mother in the 60s. A different philosophy of thinking. Like, it's just a respect thing. You want me so far? Follow me. In the 70s, things started to shift a little bit. More mothers started to go to work and work. There's a lot of stuff there, which just wasn't cool in the way that women were oppressed. Even to this day, still being oppressed in many ways. And if you look at the number of CEOs that are women, business owners that are women, millionaires that are women, you see there's still some level of disparity there. But there was definitely, it was strong, it was heavy. It was heavy, and then now women are finally going and saying, man, we want to go get jobs because we can, we need to, and then we have to, and then what do we have to do? But that changed things. This term started to enter into this thing called latchkey. That wasn't a program, a government-funded program. Walk in the house, turn the key behind you, because nobody's there. So what are we there for? Because everybody had to work. Now, a kid that's left with lots of questions, 10, 8 years old, 12 years old, lots of questions, lots of time. What do you think they're going to do with their time? We're talking about the 70s. This is before there were any sexy video games. Right? They start communing, they start asking questions with their peers a lot more because parents and adults were not available. In fact, there's like these charts that show how the respect level started to drop between adults and children right at this strategic time where it's like, I have no use for you. You are investing in me, and it was just like this disconnect that happened. Follow me, 2 more seconds here. There was this immature independence that started to be introduced. This immature independence of, man, I'm going to go get it for myself. I'm going to start asking. This is from kids. This is from youth. Start to ask these questions, right? In the 80s, things started to get wild. Kids started to get more disrespectful. Just started to get more disrespectful. I was an 80s kid. I was disrespectful. Right? It's something totally changed. This whole idea of making your kids your friend, there are actually books out of how do you engage your kids to be more like friends. Because the changing of philosophy, not just saying like, I'm listening to your kids, that was one idea, listening and positive reinforcement and all this stuff, but then no, that your kid needs to be your friend, so that y'all can be, and even some of the stuff here, getting at eye level, it psychologically it does something, but it does something. It shifts. It doesn't that take psychology, you know what I'm talking about. Get at the same level, talk to the child, so that you can speak to them. There's something happened in our culture. Now we're like this. We're peers. And this is where you start to get intersect. Follow me. Now we're peers. There's already this thing of disrespect. You don't feel like I'm a viable source of information for you because I'm not available to you. So now what happens is that the schools are teaching some sex education, and then you got the playground. So what happens is like, oh snap, I don't want to talk about this subject, no way. School, you talk about it. I don't need to talk to them about it. If you were born in the 70s, if you were born in the 70s or the 60s, 70s, you know what I'm talking about. How often would you hear a parent sit down and talk to you about, hey, this is what it means to have sex? The conversation like, they got it over there. No, what happens is, yeah, they're teaching that, but then there's also this other conversation I'm having on the playground. Then I'm also giving the option of having safe sex. Oh, man. Sweet. Because nobody's standing there in the middle to say, maybe there's another alternative. Maybe you have enough self-control through what's called the Holy Spirit to not have sex till you get married. Right? In the 90s hit. This is the technology boom. This is when technology started to just go crazy. This is when I was introduced to IT, right? And it's just went crazy. 56K modems and all this stuff. And got three people that know what I'm talking about? So then you got these things. Yeah, in the 80s there was the power and stuff like that, but now they became more, they call them GUI interfaces, graphical user interfaces. They became more sexy more appealing to the eyes. And kids started wanting to sit in front of video games much longer, and parents are like, oh snap, take them. Bro, that means 2 hours, I get free time. After I get off work, after you do your homework, and I get 2 hours after that we eat, and then you go to bed. This is awesome. Technology started to boom. And then the internet was introduced. And the internet inside the homes, and then what happens is like, man, I can get some information from the internet. So now I got school, my best friend, and now I can get some information from the internet. Why do I need you? I don't have to ask you. You know, we joke about it, but they're all knowing Siri, they're all knowing Google. We don't think anymore. We don't have to. But what happens in the context of sex? You say, I don't have to even think about it anymore. If I want to know positions, I don't want to have to look for magazines. I don't have to look find somebody videotape. I can go right online and just type a position for sex. That changes things. Wow. 2000s, this is my last number here. Now everything is mobile. You see, when I came in, these central processing units, computers, they're like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you take that bad boy and walking down the street so you can see privacy. You know, it's in a public place, in a room about, 20 by 20. Because all the places are going to fit. Now, it's all mobile. Now, not only do I can get it from my friends, I can get it from school, I can get it from internet sources, but now I'm going to have to let you know that I'm doing it. Now I'm going to put on the other hat. Guys, I'm just talking about there are a lot of things in my life. And one of them, I'm a marketing firm. I market for lots of graduating artists, blah, 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 and all this stuff, right? So I know marketing. So please don't think I'm on some conspiracy theory. I'm telling you, I get with people like Marvin Saps and Anthony Hamilton. I get with those people. They give me a product, and I force people to say, this is what you need to buy. That's what, that's what I want to tell you that. So not no conspiracy theory. I'm telling you the way it works. Why? That's what they pay so much money for marketing if it doesn't work. Let me show you how this thing works. Man, we're getting to vanilla down just a little bit more. So technology is out there, all the stuff is out here. Are you aware that on an average week we will see between 5,000 to 10,000 marketing pieces from internet, from billboards to Facebook posts to we'll see about 5,000 to 10,000 a week. So now let's think about the progression, what happened over the years. And then you start thinking about what type of content. Those of us that were raised in the 70s, do you remember like Lucy, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, they didn't even sleep in the same bed. If you saw on there, I'll never forget my first shot at soft porn was Charlie's Angel, and I couldn't wait to come on late at night. I was like, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm like 10 years old, like just waiting for Charlie's Angel, just so I could see him bend down just a little bit, because everything's like right here. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing's showing. I guess I'm by myself. You should raise a pig that we should.
Baywatch.
Baywatch! Baywatch. Oh, that's my time. Thank you. Sorry. Young buck. I know. Appreciate you, brother. In the 60s, showing bodily parts in men and women just wasn't okay. In the 70s, it wasn't the norm. In the 80s, it was okay. In the 90s, it was expectation. In the 2000s, you gotta give me more. You see progression. I know it's not by chance. I know it's not by chance that now the new sexy is 13. Take a girl that's 15 years old today, and you post a picture. You take a girl that's 15-year-old, but years ago, and you post a picture of what they wear on a regular daily basis. You tell me, have things changed? Oh, that's the old way of thinking. Really? No, I think things have shifted, and we've gotten okay with it. Music. Here's what I know. I just looked at some new numbers back there. They said 70% of music, it used to be 60% of hip-hop music expressed by white teenage females. It's about 70% now. Let's think about this. As a marketing person, you determine your target audience. You say Mr. and Mrs. Usher, or Mr. and Mrs. Whoever you want to say, whoever name you want to put there, you put the name there, and you put them on a board. You say, what are the attributes? Where do they hang? Where do they go? What do they like? And then what you do is at the top of the board, because your target audience is 13-year-olds, and you write your lyrics accordingly. I want you to think about the songs. They know, sitting in, I'm telling you, from a marketer, they know coming into the room, your target audience